All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Game and Compute. Here, we talk about finance and career and side hustles and a little bit of finance news. So I came across something that's not brand new information, but it's about the upcoming stimulus tax credit for inflation. And now I don't know if this is only in California. The basics of it are based on, so basically it says, based on the little research that I was doing, it says that there's a tax relief stimulus beginning to be sent out October 22 through January 2023. That's probably the earliest set of people are going to start getting the money around that time. And it says it seems to be that it's for $350 for individuals who filed 2020 taxes and make under $75,000 annually. Now, I know it's not really a whole lot of money, but it's like, well, if it's free money, it's free money. It's supposed to be a bit of somewhat of a solution or a, to counter inflation. Now, if you think about it, that's really not going to cover too much. Like, it might cover 1 to 2 months of a little bit of, food, transportation, depending where you live, maybe about a third of your rent. And then it was saying too that people who get SSI could have an additional $39 a month. So that's just the basics of it. If people don't have time to listen to the whole thing that I'm about to say, I just wanted to put the information out there, at least quick. That's the non-expanded version. Now there are there is some additional information. So let me try and find it. I sent the info out to a lot of my clients too. So I have it actually in my work phone. Let's see. Sorry, I'm writing something down. Okay. I'm yawning today, guys. I don't know what's up. Let me see. It's basically on the news websites, KTLA, CBS. I thought I saw one on ABC as well. So I'm going to try to read what I saw yesterday. Just bear with me. I have to scroll past all the other Golden State stimulus info. So, okay, stop. Sorry, I'm still scrolling around. Probably should have pulled this up before I started talking, right? But please bear with me. Hope you guys are having a good morning. I am having a better morning today than I was yesterday as far as energy, but I switched it up a little, had a little C4 instead of the usual coffee, got in some light exercise because I don't want to overdo it because I'm out of shape and out of working out. I'm about a month out of COVID, so I've been really taking it easy and only really working out a couple days a week. But I think I can do more now. Just gotta get this car situated so I can get into the gym, because that's kind of where I thrive more, is through the gym. I should have saved this. I should have saved the chart that I was looking at yesterday. But basically it explained how much money people would get If you were making over 75,000 and over like 150,000 or something like that. And then it had categories for if you're single or married, or joint file. TurboTax, their blog has another set of information that it pretty much, let me see if it's on there. Yeah, okay, so it's on here, but just not really in like a chart form. So it says single filers earning up to $750,000 and joint filers earning up to $150,000 may be eligible for $350 per tax filer, and another $350 if you claim at least one dependent. And it says note the $350 is not per dependent. It's a one-time amount. It doesn't matter how many dependents you have. And that could be, it gives an example: a married couple claiming dependents making $150 or less will receive $1,050. So that would be $350 per tax filer plus the $350 for claiming that dependent. So that's basically three times 350, right? Because you have two people and then one dependent, or at least one dependent. Next, it says that single filers earning up to $125,000 and joint filers earning up to $250,000 will receive $250 per tax filer, and another $250 if they have dependents. And then it also says single filers earning up to $250,000 and joint filers earning up to $500,000 will receive $200 per tax filer plus another $200 if they have dependents. So it's not a lot of money. It's either between $200, $250, or $350. But again, it's free money, so it's like whatever. Something that looks a little different on the TurboTax site compared to the other site that mentioned filing 2020 taxes. This one says something a little, it makes it a little maybe almost unclear about 2021 taxes. I didn't see this on the other sites before. So in the section where it says, how will I get my stimulus tax relief payment, it says full details are not known at this time, but the Franchise Tax Board will be sending payments out as soon as possible and will most likely use information from your 2021 taxes to calculate your income. If you have not filed your 2021 taxes yet, you should file as soon as possible so they have your latest information. Now, that seems like they're stating that people basically it kind of seems like they're stating, how do I word this? Like that they're using your 2021, tax return. If it's a 2021 tax return, like, let me see. Yeah, if it's a 2021 tax return, like basically they're using that to calculate your income. It doesn't necessarily say that they are qualifying people based on filing their 2021 taxes. But then it says if you have not filed your 2021 taxes yet, you should file as soon as possible so they have your latest information. So I wasn't sure if that was latest information about your income so they can calculate it, or latest information and to be able to qualify for that stimulus. Other places do state 2020. This site is kind of mentioning 2021. So I don't know if people who haven't filed 2021 taxes are not going to qualify for the stimulus, or if they will, but just based on later information and not based on the most recent. I mean, again, it really depends on how much you're making, right? Like if you were making under 75,000 and now you're making over 50,000, because the group making over 50,000, over 150,000 would be getting a $250 stimulus, and it's the group that's making $250,000 to $500,000 that's getting $200. So it looks like if your tax information states that you're making under, like between, like basically under $150,000, because it says filers earning up to 75,000. And okay, so I was saying joint filers. Sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Joint filers up to 150,000. I'm making this more confusing than it needs to be. Yeah, because it's not in a chart form, so it kind of throws me off. It's not like a range. It's basically, the ranges are for single filers: 75,000, 125,000, and 250,000. So if you somehow got like past one of those brackets, then you're basically just gonna be, getting less of a stimulus, but also you're making way more money. So, and again, this isn't a large stimulus. It's not like $1,000 or $1,300 or $1,200 or whatever. It's like $350 for the majority of people. Now notice they did this before with filing, and so I think this is my opinion. No, this isn't a professional opinion. I kind of speculate on certain things, and it doesn't really make a difference anyways what I'm speculating on. But it seems to me, how do I word this? It feels and seems to me that since about 2020, the government has been using the stimulus money to have people update their taxes. It kind of lures people in. They're like, oh, I didn't file 2020. Oh, it also said somewhere else that I read that if you haven't filed the 2020 tax return, then it might be too late. I don't really know that for a fact. Like it sounds like they're already taking it into account that people filed it. That I don't know. I can't say don't file it because you won't get it, but it's also like I can't say because I don't really know. I'm just going by what I've read, right? I'm not sure what they're actually going to pull, when they're going to pull it. I'm just going by the recent past of what we've experienced, right? So never before in my lifetime have I come across getting like a stimulus money like this. I think I got all of them that I recall. I feel like I think I got all of them. I kind of lost track of how many there were, but I think I got all of them. So there was a 200, let me see, I got, so I got let me see. So basically what I'm trying to say, this is what I'm trying to say. They since about 2020, in order to get the stimulus money, they've been saying, okay, if you filed your taxes, right? So then what people do is they're like, okay, I'm going to file my 2019 taxes, going to file my 2020 taxes, going to file my 2021 taxes. This year is almost coming to an end, so, you know, in a few months we're going to be filing 2022 taxes, right? So I'm noticing this, and it probably makes people have a little bit more of an incentive. I feel like it's not so much, this is my opinion, it's a personal opinion. I feel like it's not so much that they're giving us money for inflation or giving us money for tax relief or giving us money for, you know, the pandemic or, you know, and job shutdowns and all that. I feel like they're giving us an incentive to update our taxes. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's been recent news that the IRS just hired a whole bunch of people, not people really to man the phones so that people can answer when you call through and there's actually a live person right away, not people to actually help you with your taxes. These are people that are auditing others. They're in an auditing process for people who make who are basically like maybe low to middle class range of income, right? Lower income brackets to higher middle income brackets. I don't want to say class. That doesn't sound right. As I hear it come out of my mouth, I'm like, I don't really like the way that sounds. I don't really consider people to be lower class if they're making less money. Like, I don't know. I feel like just the wording in it, I never really thought about it till now, but yeah, like the brackets of income, if you're making like below the poverty level, you're nearly at the poverty level, you're a little above the poverty level. I would say that is, you know, that's what it seems like. You know, they're auditing people who are making less money. They're not auditing these big money making people. And Ken Coleman had a comment saying that, you know, they go after the little guys, they go after the people making less money because the people with big money can afford lawyers and they can fight, you know, all the audit information about tax returns. Now, that being said, I personally have experienced in the last, I don't know, few years, I wasn't really keeping track, but I want to say at least since 2020, I have had mail from FTB, IRS, I don't know which one, but I've had mail that was stating, okay, 2015 you didn't pay your taxes, 2017 you didn't pay your taxes. You know, they were pulling from like years, like 2019 you didn't pay your taxes, whatever. They pulled like a few years where they were like, you didn't pay your taxes. Now I did pay my taxes, and I sent them the proof, and 2 out of the 3 that they sent me, they were like, oh, like this is proof enough that of what we needed, that you paid your taxes. And then there was 1 year where they were like still going back and forth or whatever. And then I got into a dispute about them trying to consider garnishing wages, where I was like, well, I filed, so what are you trying to garnish? You know, so that came up. And then recently when I filed taxes, it said that, you know, I was going to actually get a refund, which like never happens. And then they told me, no, you owe us money. And from the 2020 taxes, from 2021. So basically in 2022, when I filed for 2021, they were saying that I owe them an amount that's higher than what I usually ever owe them. And so I'm like, okay, now here I am again trying to fight this thing. Now, I don't, my day job, I don't make that much money, which is why I'm transitioning out of this job. I don't make a whole lot of money. I like the work I do, but I'm burnt out from it, so it's making it not necessarily the most ideal work. I file my taxes because I don't want to deal with all the nonsense, and it's like I know that I don't get withheld the max amount, just because, I already make so little that I try to make sure that I have extra, and I'd rather just, pay taxes during tax time. Like, it's still the same thing, but it's like in my head I'm like, okay, that's just a preference of mine. I could get more deducted, but then it's like, then my paychecks are less every month. And so, I'd like to have a bigger paycheck every month just because I do more with my money. Like, I feel like I with the investments, maybe not this year, but with investments overall, I make more of a return on my investments that comes from me allotting certain portions of my money to investment accounts. I make more than what I usually owe in taxes. And so for me, it feels like because of that reason, I'm actually making more versus if I got less money through my paychecks, I'd have less to allot to my I basically have less. So that's just kind of my method with things, but that's also my kind of thinking with things. And I could urge people, pay attention to your taxes. Make sure you have digital copies of everything you submit. If you don't use like TurboTax or H&R Block or something that has like digital stuff where you have it in your email or whatever, keep the physical papers. What I do is I take pictures on my phone, so that I can save it. Save it somewhere where you're not going to get it hacked or whatever. And, so basically if I have like hard copy papers, I save those in digital files. I try to keep the hard copies too, but it helps to know that you have a digital copy on file, because then you'll kind of always have it. All the receipts, all the stuff where they say, we got your return, we got this, like it's been submitted, it's been approved, all that stuff. You want to keep proof of it, because when they start coming back and they start saying, oh, we don't, when they start coming back, they start saying, oh, we didn't get this from you. It's like, you're not going to remember. I think the thing is for me is I don't remember not filing taxes ever. I don't remember ever having a year where I was like, oh, I didn't do this. Because it's not like you can really forget, like unless you literally just cut everything out of your life, it's really going to be hard to get, right? You're going to be getting stuff in the mail from your work and from your retirement and from all the different accounts that you have. If it's like Robinhood or Coinbase or whatever, everything's sending you emails and literal like physical mail. And it's due every year. You hear about it all the time. They start blowing up your email about, through TurboTax or whatever you used the previous years. They're going to keep telling you pretty much from January all the way past April. And then they've done extensions even through October. So I feel like because the extension for 2021 filing is October of this year, I think that's why they're starting this, what I want to call a stimulus incentive, to file your taxes. And just because you filed doesn't mean that you did it wrong. Just because you filed doesn't mean that they are right. Just because basically they will keep an eye on you. And I feel like since I'm on the radar, they're keeping an eye on me very strategically. like when I file, and then they're like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, you owe money, and it's like, what, you know, like, how do I owe that much? Like, I do the math, I know how much I owe, so it's weird to me. And the thing is like, I don't have massive amounts of money that I want to be dishing out to be sending, to these places. And so it's kind of like, okay, I could just pay it and get him off my case, but I'm like, I know how much I should owe, especially because I make the same amount of money all the time. It doesn't make sense to be owing 2 to 3 times more what you usually would owe when you're making the same amount of money, right? Like, stuff like that. It's nonsense. And so I'm not 100% sure, but I think 211 and legal aid in your local areas have tax support people. My experience with them is that they aren't too immediate. So if you have something due right away, or if you have something, so if you have something due right away, or if you have something waiting, if you're waiting on some support, I feel like they take long. I remember I signed up in 2020. So around 2020, I think I called, and they reached out to me like way later. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head now because it was a while ago, but it was either like a couple days before taxes were due, or like a couple days after taxes were due. I really can't remember, but I remember being like, okay, I'm gonna like use this resource because they can help me. And I've also done the ones where you go into those little mall kiosk, they rent it out during tax season. They do your taxes for free. H&R Block is good. I mean, I liked the ones where you either talk to a person on the phone or and submit your information, or you do it on the website. Not the website. I mean, they do it on the website. Like, you go to a physical person, take in all your documents, and do it on the website. There, like with a physical person. I think 2021 people had for filing 2021 people, TurboTax got kind of outed for charging people to use their services when they say that they're free. They do have a free version of the services, but it's not 100% free for everybody, and that's not very clear. Yeah. So I don't really know, but yeah. So that's kind of mostly what I had to say. Just keep your eyes open. I mean, I could be wrong. They could still be arguing about this stimulus in Sacramento. They could be, maybe it won't be released. Maybe it will. It's hard to really tell, but I just wanted to put that out there because it's news that I've come across, and then I'm just kind of like looking at the patterns of what I've noticed in my own personal life, and I'm like, what is going on, and then all the changes that they're making, and then I've noticed it in my life. I've noticed it with clients. I think during 2020, a lot of my clients have SSI, and they were being falsely told that they owe this or that amount of money. Some of these people had never filed taxes in their lives because they never were working, and so it's like, I don't really know. but they were being told, okay, you owe this much money, and some of them ended up paying it because it's like, you get mail from the IRS, you're gonna obey. But look at it, make sure it's accurate. If it's not accurate, run it by somebody. Because I feel like if they're trying to get over on me, and they've tried to get over on multiple of my clients, I'm pretty sure they're trying to get over on more than just, San Diego people. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see as things unfold, but for now, thanks for listening.